Radio IMWS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to this to Radio IMWS on this Friday evening. We're almost 8 o'clock. It's our usual kind of a few minutes late. You know how it is. I'm Brother Muhammad, and today we are having a Muhammad Sawa special featuring a local school with a very special project. But before we get to that, we have a few announcements we do need to get out of the way. Firstly, tomorrow, now then, I know International Women's Day was last week, I believe on the 8th of March. However, as we are late on the show, we do delay these things. We've got an International Women's Day special program happening tomorrow here at the Al Hikmah Center. It's called Step Up to the Challenge. It's in partnership with Kirklees Council. It's from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's ladies only. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's free entrance as well. And they say there's going to be refreshments. Now, I've seen the menu for this. So if you are a sister or a lady who's listening out there, then you are in for a treat. So do make your way to the Al Hikmah Center tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for Step Up to the Challenge, which is a community event for International Women's Day. And whilst we're looking at, if you may be aware already, we have launched here from the IMWS the East Africa Appeal. Now, there's a lot of drought that's taking place in the region. There's Kenya, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia. All that is involved, presently struggling in the drought. So we want you to help us to help them. Zakat Sadaqah Lillah through your local masjids or via the Indian Muslim Welfare Society here at the Al Hikmah Center. You can make your donations. This appeal will last for a period of 2 weeks. So please donate generously. Alhamdulillah, over many years, we have seen the local community really come out every time we put these appeals in. It's 1966 when we launched our first appeal, and that was for the Aberfan school disaster. So it's a long history. You've done fantastically well, and inshallah, I'm sure you'll continue to help us for this as well. And the third thing is, okay, now this is more for the men, something for the women, so we need something for the men. Walking football. Now, here at the Al Hikmah Center, every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we have got walking football. Now, you might think that walking football means just a little bit of a walk around the indoor sports hall here. But no, it doesn't. It means sweat. It means aches and limbs aching. It means, for some reason, stomach with a little bit of pain. You may have realized by now that I myself am partaking in this, what I thought was light exercise. Not quite so, and it is competitive. Believe me, I always want to win. That's taking place every Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So do join us for that as well. Right, okay, now to the main event. Joining us live in the studio from Upper Batley High School is Jeanette Dent and Don Allen, and they are going to talk to us they are going to talk to us about a very special project that's been happening at school for quite a few years now. It's called INDIABILITY. I know some of you out there who are listening will have been on this as well, will have had experienced this as well. But for those of us who don't know anything about it, and for everyone out there, actually, I'm very pleased to welcome Jeanette and Don into the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
No, thank you for inviting us. Yeah, lovely.
Right. Okay. Now then, who's going to tell me what is INDIABILITY?
Well, INDIABILITY started over about 10 or 12 years ago through a chap called Martin Haig, who used to work with young pupil services in Kirklees. And he made contact with the school in India, where we now have developed it and progressed, and we take from 7 to 8 pupils up to 20 odd pupils at a time.
Right. Okay. Now, so it started. That's where it started. That's where INDIABILITY. What's happening? I mean, the school itself in India. Tell us a little bit about the school.
There's three campuses to the school, and they cater for hearing impaired pupils, from ages from 3, 4 right up to 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
Right.
There's a severely special needs school as well, and one of the schools is totally deaf.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Jeanette, now you yourself went recently, I believe, in the last one. When was that?
We went in October 2015, and we took 12 students, 6 students from Upper Batley High School and 6 students from Batley Girls' School. And we first of all arrived in Navsari, and we were with the deaf school,
Right.
for students with hearing impairments. And then we worked with those students for about a week, and then we travelled to Sepatara, and we went to the school for the visually impaired, and we worked again, our students working with the students in the schools that we visited.
Right. Okay. And how was the feeling for you? I mean, was that your first trip to the areas of
Yes.
Navsari, a familiar place for us?
It was my first trip, and I think everybody kept saying to me, be careful, you might get bitten by a mosquito, but I think I got bitten by the bug of India, and especially that area. I just enjoyed it so much. I found the schools so welcoming. I found the work that our students were doing with the schools quite inspiring, really. Our young people in Batley are inspiring if they are given those opportunities. And I found myself very welcomed in India. So I enjoyed it. I want to go back, so I'm working hard to do that.
That's great. Okay, now then, if you're listening at home, remember you can listen via the World Wide Web at imws.org.uk. You can also watch us in picture and sound via YouTube. Head off to YouTube, type in Radio IMWS, you'll find us at the top of the page. Remember, we will be, we welcome any messages or any questions via our mobile phone, which WhatsApp or text 07460 80921. I can remember these numbers again. I haven't been on the air for a while. Right, Don, I'm going to come back to you because you said it started back with Martin Hay. I mean, at that time, I get the idea of how the schools linked up and the idea, but where did the idea itself come from? I mean,
I think Martin Haig went over to India, with working with young people in England and around Kirklees. And sort of made links with the schools in Navsari. And it all started from there, really, and the ball just never stopped rolling.
And when was the first time you went over?
I went in 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
So was that the first
That's
group?
the very first time time I've been. Yes.
Right.
There was 2 or 3 groups before that.
So I'm going to go all the way back to that because what was the reaction of parents when this was launched, when the letters presumably went home?
I think the reaction to parents is still the same now. They always think India's a dangerous place, and obviously protection of their children. But when they come back, the parents and the children, they just want to go again because it's such a safe place. The people are so welcoming. It's not a touristy place at all. It's a proper working town.
Right. And what's the selection process? I mean, how did you choose? I mean, you mentioned in 2015 you had 6 students. How do you select who goes?
Well, first of all, they've got to be very well behaved students.
Right.
So we have a system at school called sleuths.
Yes.
And so they can't have any negative sleuths. They've got to write a letter of interest to say that they want to go, and then we talk to the students and we make a selection process. And it really depends on our fundraising ability to how many students we can take. And so this year we're going again in February 2018, and we're taking 8 students.
Right.
So in order for us to get there, we need to raise £10,000. So that sort of focuses the mind on how many students we're going to take for us to organise that amount of money. So the students have to be, as I say, very well behaved. They have to have a very good attendance record, no time off school. They've got to be interested in something as well outside of school, sort of that value added, and they've got to want to go, and they've also got to commit to raising the money, because we raise the money to go as a group. So we don't expect the parents to pay everything for this trip. We work for the whole year on different events to raise the money to go.
Right. Okay. And in that first year, I mean, the fundraising, I mean, as soon as you turn around to Batley and say, right, we're going to raise, what was the raising at that time? 6,000, 7,000 pounds,
Yes,
somewhere
yeah.
around there?
It was
Yes, it
hard work,
was,
but we
yes.
did it. But lots of different ways we did it. We did it by having a cake stall every week at school, backpacks, car washes, sponsored. We did a row our way to India, so we calculated how many miles it was across the oceans, and then we did so many strokes on the rowing machine. So lots of varied ways to raise money, really.
Yeah.
I have to say that this year we're working really closely with all the parents of the 8 students, and we've got some fabulous fundraising ideas, and also the parents are so dedicated to supporting their children going on this trip that, you know, I think it will be successful.
Yeah. And Don, I'm going to come back to you. That very first trip, I mean, you must have been nervous. Was that the first time you went to India?
First time, yes, in 2008.
And you had how many students with you at that time?
We had 7.
Seven students,
students.
7 people, learners with you. How was getting them through the airport? I mean, I have one teenager.
We all wear every time we go. We wear a T-shirt with INDIABILITY on it. It's got the kid's name on the back as well. So in the airport, they stand out a mile, because last time we all wore red.
Right.
So they never go around the airport alone. We're always with them. They're always supervised. And we're a tightly knit group anyway. So they don't want to go off on their own. They want to stay with us anyway. Yeah. They never, you know, they don't. It is health, safety first.
Yeah, we're a bit like a family. Because if you've worked hard for over a year, we know each other, and we're a family, really. We
are very close after fundraising and doing all these events over time. We are a big family.
Right. And that first trip, obviously everything you saw was for the first time as well. What was the reaction from yourself and from the pupils as well when you first went into that school? And
very apprehensive, because just like the parents, and you do think, oh, you know, you see things on television, and it's nothing like that at all. Really not. It's so colourful. We thought the food was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic food. The people invite into their houses, and they've got some of them in the small villages. They've got very little. But they offer you food, and they're welcoming. They show you their house, and they show you, and they invite you to you know, to meet all their family, and the family come round and greet you and see you. They've come 2 or 3 miles just to see us.
All right.
And they really treat you like royalty. Yeah, they really do.
That's excellent. And the reaction from the children as well, because that would be the first time. I mean, both of you, when you went, were you to see the reaction from the pupils, and the learners would presumably would have been gone for the first time as well on both occasions. I mean, when you Jeanette, sorry, what was the reaction of the group that you had? I mean, seeing these children. I mean, on one side you're probably seeing some level of poverty, and on the other side, you're children who are growing up with disabilities.
Yes. Well, I can vouch for the students that we took last time. 2 in particular, I'll just talk about. Our head boy at school at the moment was one of the students that we took last time, and he did an assembly for the whole of the school, and he spoke quite passionately about how it had changed his perception of his life in Batley, how fortunate he was, and how he the things that he took for granted, how actually fantastic his life was in Batley. Not compared to the children in India, because you can't compare the 2 lives, and you shouldn't. But just it made him really think just how fortunate it was to have an education, to be looked after by his parents, and to live where he does. What I liked was it made our students step up to the mark, because Hamza, who also went, is head prefect, Atiab is head boy, and all of the students appreciated and start to put things back into school life here, and I would presume in the home life as well. You know, so
I mean, the boys that you mentioned there, sorry, they were head boys and the head prefects at the time, or
afterwards.
Right. Okay.
Yes, it made them step you know, it
Yeah.
made them into sort of young
Young
men.
men.
It really did. And the friendship groups that they made whilst they were out there, they're still in contact with. Before we go, we always do have some lessons of sign language, because the students in the school for the hearing impaired obviously all use sign language to communicate. And so we equip our children with some basic sign language before we go. And after about a day, obviously the British Sign Language and the Indian Sign Language are slightly different, but they're the same family.
Right.
And watching our students communicate within a day, isn't it, Don? Really?
It is really.
Right.
And the
so
friendships
fast.
that they make is incredible. It could honestly make you
It's
cry.
lovely to
It's
see.
just
It
wonderful
really is.
to see
Yeah.
the relationships develop. And also, some of our students start to teach lessons there. So they might teach some English lessons. We taught a music lesson whilst we were in the school for the visually impaired, because one of their big things at the school for the visually impaired is music, isn't it? As a therapy and as a employment for the students who have got visual impairment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to Radio IMWS. This is Muhammad Zawa, and today we have Jeanette Dent and Don Allen from Upper Batley High School, my old school. It is, yes, but as in old, as in very old.
Yeah.
But, yes.
Later on that.
And we're talking about INDIABILITY. We're going to take a very short break. We'll be back with you right after this. Broadcasting from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire, you're listening to Radio IMWS. Are you running a business from home and need to move into an office, a place where you can confidently meet your clients, or maybe looking to relocate? The Al Hikmah Centre provides office space in a safe, secure and scenic location with easy access, convenient location, free car parking and free Wi-Fi. Hiring an office at the Al Hikmah Centre can allow your business to grow. For more details and special offers, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk. With great rates at the Al Hikmah Sports Hall in Batley. You can book a weekday daytime slot for just £18 per hour. Call 01924 500 555. Evening or weekend slots for just £38 per hour. And special discounted weekend slots available too. Call 07968 222 886. The Al Hikmah Sports Hall, the perfect place to get back in shape. It is related by Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when a man marries, he has completed half of his religion, so let him fear Allah regarding the remaining half. The Al Hikmah Nikah service launched by the IMWS aims to introduce prospective marriage partners to help fulfill this important aspect of faith. The service is open to unmarried Muslims who are permanent residents of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.imws.org.uk. Radio IMWS. Welcome back to this evening's program. It's just gone past 8:20. I'm not going to go digital on you. You are listening to Radio IMWS. We've got Jeanette and Don from India, from the Upper Batley High School. I always want to say Upper Batley Boys High School, but it's Upper Batley High School. Remember, you can send in a message or a question, anything you want. Maybe you've been on one of these on INDIABILITY or one of these trips before, and you'd like to share a story or two. You can WhatsApp us or text messages on 07460809218. That is the old method of talking. You can do that if you want. Just call 01924 505 629. But everyone wants to write in messages these days. I'm pleased to say we do have one message that's come in from the gentleman who's going to originally host this program this evening, but unfortunately due to an illness has been unable to make it in today. It is my colleague, Mr. Muhammad Barber, who says, and I've mentioned, by the way, Mr. Allen is remembering you fondly. He said you were terrible. But he did say on the point about such a warm welcome. When I went, one of my colleagues said, I've never met anyone so happy to see me before. And that's in a nutshell. I suppose that is an amazing feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, we will get on to Mr. Barber very shortly, but before that, support from the school. Tell us about the support from the school.
Well, the head teacher at our school, Miss Vickers, is very supportive of this trip to India. She values the impact it has on the students and on the community. Anything that develops self-awareness, enterprise skills, the sort of skills that go out when you're out there and you're working with other students, you know, how you've got to be empathetic to other people's needs, sort of makes you into a well-rounded person, is what we want for our boys at school. Well, for all young people really, but it just develops so many of those skills that are lifelong skills to have, really.
And tell us about some of the skills that the pupils do pick up. I know you've already mentioned about the boys who were inspired and went on to become head boy and head prefect as well. But tell us about some of the basic skills. The sign language you've mentioned. What else do they pick up?
Well, we deliver lessons, don't we, whilst we're out there?
Yeah.
So
so they can't get away from school.
No, they've got to deliver a lesson.
They've got to deliver a lesson.
Yes, they deliver
to the students, and also they've got to come up with activities for the young people to do whilst we're out there. So they'll host a sports afternoon, or they'll host a fun. Don, tell them about the face painting.
We take lots of activities with us, and we do lots of face painting with the special needs children, and it is a full afternoon, because in their education, to us it seems very, very sort of Victorian. It's heads in books and listen to the teacher and do as you're told type thing.
Right.
So when we go, we sort of deliver fun activities.
Nice.
Like Jeanette says, we do lots of sports. And there's all sorts of games and balls throwing all over the place, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And then the face painting, the queuing up to have tigers on the faces and butterflies and things like that. And then one fantastic afternoon we had, I mean, simple things. We took lots of balloons.
Right.
And we're frantically blowing these balloons. We could not blow these balloons up quick enough for these young kids. And then the next morning, took all afternoon, and the next morning the children still had the balloons. They must have taken them to bed, like our children take teddy bears.
Right.
They've just never seen a balloon before.
Oh, goodness.
And they never let go of these balloons for a day or two.
Goodness me.
It's great.
It's just wonderful to see.
Yes. Sorry, to come back to the sign language side of things, you mentioned, Jeanette, about the difference between the sign language and English and over in India. I mean, what are the differences? And did anyone do anything that was entertaining, shall we say?
Well, to be truthful, the differences are probably very subtle, and you don't always know. But what happens is that the students in India teach our students the differences. So we'll start off with basic communication, and then it develops from there. So although they don't understand all of the words, by 2 or 3 days they're communicating really well. Funny things that might have happened. I'm just trying to think. We spent a long time making dogs out of balloons, which they didn't want. They just wanted balloons.
No, they just undid the dogs and
that's
just
right.
had a balloon.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
and they just wanted the balloons.
wanted a balloon.
Just wanted the balloons.
Yeah, they weren't. But we spent ages, didn't we, twisting
Yeah,
them,
twisting and all sorts.
getting the head and the legs
It
and
was
the
just a
tails.
balloon.
Yeah, it was just
Right.
the balloon.
Now the duration of INDIABILITY. Sorry, how long are you guys over there for?
We're going this time for 2 weeks.
Right. And the first time.
I think
It's usually 10 to 14
10 to 14
days. 10 to 14
10 to
days.
14
depending,
days.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And it must be quite rushed during that time.
It's hectic because we've got to get 3 schools. We go to one in Navsari, then we go to another school in Sapatara, Dang Forest.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of travelling. 3 hours on it's only 3 hours, but when it's hot and we're tired, but we're working with the children all day. And it never stops.
And transport wise, what do you guys use?
We use the school bus.
All right.
And it's a bit rickety, old, but it's fun, especially with the Indian traffic.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Yes. And what was your impression of the Indian traffic the first time you saw it?
First time, when they got to Mumbai the first time, it was night time.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's a very
and all
deadly
the
time.
kids were fast asleep, and I was so terrified of missing something, so I stayed awake all the
Yeah,
time.
I did.
And there's just, well, you know, it's just horns all the time.
Yes.
And it's just chaos. And I mean, Mumbai probably never goes to sleep, and
No.
it's just like a motorway
Yeah.
non-stop. There's motorbikes. The funniest thing I saw was a man, like a scooter.
Yeah.
In the footwell, there's a little kid, about 3 or 4 year old, that got a tumble dryer on the back. His wife as well, and a dog on a little moped.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
they were trying to be economical. I mean,
And
there's
they were
space
in
for
and
a
out
few
of the
more.
buses and everything else, and it was like, whoa. But that's how it is.
And I mean, without being, I end up being rude at times. Apologies for that. But obviously, you were seeing something from a different culture. What about the pupils who were with you? Because obviously they're from a South Asian culture, but presumably, what was their reaction to these type of traffic chaos and tumble dryers and mopeds? Although they would have been asleep on that one.
Stride better than because we're a little bit older. And they just accept it as it is. It's fun, exciting, but they think it's great when everything just nearly misses. You know, it's like, oh, you know.
And are many of the children that you guys traveled with, have they been to India before? Have they experienced it before?
I would say about 60-40, 60% no and 40% yes.
Right.
I tell you
But
what
we
was
do-
really nice. Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to
No, it's
interrupt you
okay.
there. I tell you what was really nice though was last time we went, some of the students, the families were from that area, and we had one day where we had a day where the families could come and visit. So grandmas and granddads and aunties and uncles came, and at the front of the school is a lovely seating area, sort of semi out in the
big
open,
canopy on
isn't it?
top.
Like a big
Yeah.
canopy on top, yeah. But a lovely area. And so Don and I are sat on the sofas, and the families are all coming to visit our students. So we're just there supervising, if you like. These families were so pleased, and the children were so pleased to see their extended families from there, that we got involved in it.
We did,
didn't we?
and some of the children with us had never
Grandparents
seen the
and-
grandparents, and
Yeah.
it was emotional as
It
well.
was very
it really was.
emotional,
Yeah.
and really, you know, they travelled over to see the students, and I think we didn't appreciate that might happen, did we? Really?
No, we didn't expect it. Did
We didn't expect
No,
it, and
we
it
didn't.
turned out to be one of the like gems of the trip, if you like, for us to see the families all coming together. It was lovely.
And I know you've got a picture there. I know we want to show that. So if you pass it over to me, let me see if I can embarrass a few people out there.
Yeah,
And all
that's the trip from the last trip that went
Let me
out.
just see if I can. Oh, there you go. Right. Okay. I think that might get a few comments on YouTube. Right. Okay. So you're going for 14 days in February. All right. Now we're getting on to the main event. You're going for the same 3 schools, working with the same schools again.
Yeah.
By now they must start to wait for you guys to turn up. They must be in anticipation as to what color balloons are going to come this time.
Do you know what's nice is that when you leave the school, they tell you that you're part of their family.
Yeah.
And then I've had cards, I've had emails, and I really do feel like we're part of an extended family. And they are looking forward to seeing us, and they are looking forward to meeting our young people again. It enriches them just as much as it enriches our students, really.
Right. Okay. And looking at the task ahead, what ideas have you guys got for the fundraising
We've
side?
got lots of ideas. I've written a few down so I can just go through. Our parent group this year, as I was saying to you, is phenomenal, really. But we've got a soccer tournament in July at the Batley, what's it called? Soccer, indoor soccer place in Batley. I can't just, it's got, the name's gone from my head. We've got a kite and family fun day, making kites, flying kites.
Okay.
That's in July. We still do our cake stall at school every Wednesday break, and we always sell out of cakes. We make about £25 every week, but every little bit adds up.
All adds up.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. We've got a backpack
Tesco's.
at Tesco's in June, and we're going to have a little stall in Tesco's as well. And one of the mums makes wonderful pickles. Mrs. Patel makes, Ahmed's mum makes wonderful pickles, and one of the mums makes bath bombs and toiletries, and we make, you know, so the parents are really, really supportive. We're going to try and do perhaps another sponsored event. I'm not 100% sure yet, but all these ideas are with one goal in mind, is to make sure that we raise enough to go. We want to try and raise about £10,000, and because we want £10,000, we donate to the school. And last year we donated enough to pay for half of the funding towards a therapy room.
Yeah.
And we also paid for a meal every 14th of February for the next 10 years for the whole three schools.
Right.
And we took lots of school books and school supplies with us. So although we go and we work with the students, we try to leave whatever money that we make. One of the students said to me, what happens if we make more than £10,000? And I said, well, we will never have any savings because whatever we make will go to the school. So we set off always on a zero because we never keep any money. We always give it to the school. So.
And you're planning to take 8 students in the next one now. How does this work? Is it 8 students who are going to be flat out fundraising, or does the whole school chip in?
Well,
now this is where my son gets into it, because he's a student there as well.
Right. Well, obviously they buy the cakes.
Right.
And yes, they do, because they'll sponsor their colleagues. They will, if we do any, for example, next week we're running a pop-up shop in one of the classrooms that isn't used just at the moment, and it's for Mother's Day.
All right.
So all of the students will be able to come along to the pop-up shop and perhaps buy a gift for their mums for Mother's Day, and the students will be running it. All the things have been donated by the parents, and so that's a way of fundraising.
Yeah, terrific. We've got a message come in from one of the someone who went with you guys, saying we went Navsari once in rickshaws. Indian traffic being what it is very busy. We got stuck in a traffic jam, and coming to us from behind us was a massive horse. Massive horde of buffaloes. That was an experience, I can tell you, as they walk past you, wagging their tails side to side. That must be an experience, seeing all these animals running around, especially for the 60% who have never seen it.
I've never seen it before.
It's just really for something that's never been before. And you're in a rickshaw, and obviously it's more or less open. There's no doors and things, and as you know. And then these cows just wander past, and they're faster than the traffic tape. And there's like we saw some goats, dogs, and like pig hog thing. No other way really, but they're just there. And local people just accept it. And for the first time, it's just what's in the middle of the road. You know, these cows and things.
And it's funny
and
how
everything
fast
goes around them. But after a couple of days. You do get used to it yourself. You do. It's part of life, and you just adjust yourself.
I mean, I have to say, I've experienced it myself, and for the very first time as an adult, and yes, it is quite interesting. Okay, during one of the sports workshops we held, we met one student who was a bronze Olympian at the Beijing Olympics, I believe. Was an honor to meet him. Any recollection of that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that, but I do remember a lot of pupils in the school. I think you sort of have preconceptions that were because like deaf children or hearing impaired or special needs, that they don't do much. You know, that's typical English person. Shouldn't say that really, but you get there and they have chess tournaments. They won that this year.
All right,
they won that. And came second, I think. And when I went, they go to karate, and they came back with all these medals and things that they'd won. And they're just normal children, just like our children here. just with some sort of disability, but it doesn't hold them back at all. And
I mean,
there's lots of competitions, and they do really well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that, as you mentioned, what we see is we do think, especially in countries like India and African places, where a child with a disability is often shunned or put aside. Is that the type of things that you guys saw? Did you? I mean, I know the children themselves are very inspiring and they push themselves. But what about the support from the Indian side there?
They just get all the support that they need, and more.
Right.
They don't miss out on anything. They're involved in all the activities, especially when we go, and they just love it, you know.
Yeah.
They have proper lessons.
They follow the national curriculum, the Indian national curriculum.
Right.
So they're not given any special work to do. They do the exact same curriculum as every other Indian child does.
Right.
They might just have it delivered slightly differently.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Just an update on the Beijing one. Mr. Allen didn't come with us on that.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the reason why. You can send your messages, your text, WhatsApps into 07460809218. We're going to take another little short break and then wrap up the show with a few last thoughts on Indiability. Broadcasting from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire, you're listening to Radio IMWS. Are you running a business from home and need to move into an office, a place where you can confidently meet your clients, or maybe looking to relocate? The Al Hikmah Centre provides office space in a safe, secure and scenic location. With easy access, convenient location, free car parking and free Wi-Fi, hiring an office at the Al Hikmah Centre can allow your business to grow. For more details and special offers, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk. Get physical with great rates at the Al Hikmah Sports Hall in Batley. You can book a weekday daytime slot for just £18 per hour. Call 01924 500 555. Evening or weekend slots for just £38 per hour. And special discounted weekend slots available too. Call 07968 222 886. The Al Hikmah Sports Hall, the perfect place to get back in shape. It is related by Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when a man marries, he has completed half of his religion, so let him fear Allah regarding the remaining half. The Al Hikmah Nikah service launched by the IMWS aims to introduce prospective marriage partners to help fulfill this important aspect of faith. The service is open to unmarried Muslims who are permanent residents of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.imws.org.uk. Radio IMWS. Welcome back to Radio IMWS, broadcasting live from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire. Now then, I'm just going to recap on some of those early announcements that we made. Remember, tomorrow, ladies, we have a Step Up to the Challenge. It's a community event for International Women's Day on Saturday, the 18th of March, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're usually late on things, we know that, but it is a fantastic event. I've seen the planning for it. Excuse me. I've seen the planning for it. There's going to be some inspirational talks, including about a local lady who was involved in a World War I think. I should know that better, actually. But do come along for that. There are refreshments available. There's going to be a lot of inspiring speakers and motivational speakers, inspirational women's exhibition, craft activities for children. That's all happening from 2 till 4 p.m. And then you've got the secrets of self-defense and the real Wonder Woman. It sounds very interesting, so do come down for that. Men, me and you, we need to get, or you and I, we need to get into shape. And the way to do it, if you're available on a Thursday afternoon between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. is a walk-in football. Sounds easy. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And what you got to remember, if you can't make it at that time, then do not worry, because circuit training does take place every Tuesday. It's free for all of you out there, not for me because that's a bit too strenuous. That's from 7:15 to 8:15 every Tuesday afternoon. sorry, evening. And before that, 5:15 to 6:15 on Tuesdays. We never miss our sisters out. You've got aerobics, both run by coaches, so do come to that. We've got the Africa Appeal. I'll be telling you more about that. We're going to get back onto this. Remember, text WhatsApps on 07460809218, or you can call the studio on 01924 505 629. In the studio with us, if you're not aware, or if you just tuned in, we have Jeanette Dent and Don Allen from Upper Batley High School, and we are talking today about INDIABILITY, February 2018. Oh, that's a click, which means somebody has phoned in. Good evening, caller. Do tell us your name.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. It's Muhammad Barber over here.
Oh, the wounded Muhammad Barber, who should have been in the chair this evening. Muhammad, how are you doing, man?
I wish I was better, because then I would have been there with you. But unfortunately, I'm kind of pulled a muscle in my back, which means I can't really walk that much.
Right. Well, I'm sure we will get you back in here, because I'm sure we're going to have more of these programs with the school as well. Now then, what do you want to tell us today?
First of all, let's say hello to Mr. Allen, as I knew him back then.
Mr. Allen? Yes, he is. Oh, sorry. Do you want to put your headphones on? My apologies. For the call, we do need the headphones on. Right. Okay. Do you want to start again, Mr. Barber?
We'll start from where?
Just say the hello.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
When I first came into the studio about a half an hour ago, first thing I said was, "Where's Mr. Barber?" Because I've not seen you for so many years. Well, it seems a long time. I think you just left school. I saw you the year later in school. You came for something, and I've not seen you since. So I assume you've been to university, and I haven't got a clue what you're doing now.
Working here.
Yeah, basically. I was at uni for 3 years, and then I came back, and now I'm working for these guys at the moment. I was so excited to come today to the show, but unfortunately at the last minute I just
well, when Miss Dent
really
said
gutted.
It's Muhammad Barber, I thought, fantastic. So we'll have to catch up another time.
The secret was to lure you in. We used him. Now, Mr. Barber, now to tell us, Muhammad, tell us about your experience. We've heard the experience from the teachers, the chaperones, if you like. Tell us the pupils or the learners' experience.
I went back in 2010 now, so that's 7 years ago, and it was quite incredible. We weren't there for very long. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks isn't a huge amount of time, but it's a time that I look back at really, really fondly. I still reminisce about it, every now and again. Go through the photographs and just kind of remember what an amazing time that I had over there. Because as Jeanette was saying, it can be quite an eye-opening experience, because there's certain things you look around and we take for granted over here, but then over there, it's a thought that never even occurs to them in their heads. It kind of does give you that a different perspective of what it's like to grow up as a kid there and what it's like to grow up as a kid over here. So it is a very different experience, and quite right, you can't compare the two, because they're not comparable at all, really.
Right. What made you want to go?
Well, it was a chance to go to India, and I thought, why the hell not?
That's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah, I do have to say we're 13 minutes away from the watershed, so the language, please. But so was that it? Did you have any idea what you were going to do or what it was about?
That explained what we were going to do. I'd been to India before that, so I kind of knew sort of what I was getting myself in for. But I was a lot younger then. This was before kind of 2010 when I went. So it was still kind of quite a shocking experience. So in that sense, you don't really know what you're getting yourself stuck into until you get there. But you're pretty well briefed,
right?
Beforehand.
Yeah, and your first experience of going into one of these schools and working with these children, what did that feel like, or what was your first reaction to that?
It's an odd thing, but you walk through the gates and you don't have time to think of a reaction, because they just run to you. And all the first kind of memory that I have is you walk through the kind of the gates of the security guard on the side, and you just see this massive horde of kind of young children. They're just running towards you, and you're thinking, oh dear.
But they're all smiling and happy, aren't they?
Exactly, and they're really happy to see you. They're all smiling, and you know, they're laughing, and and you're there wondering, why are they smiling? Why are they laughing? And you look behind you to think, well, there's nothing behind me. And then they crowd around you, and then you kind of realize, oh, they're happy to see me. It is an odd experience. It is kind of shocking. It is overwhelming, absolutely. But it's a feeling you never forget, and to this day I still remember it.
Right. I'm going to let you guys ask the questions. What questions have you got for Mr. Barber on the line?
Can I ask a question, Mohammed?
Yes.
Mohammed, if you had to put a plea out to why people should support us and why it's a good idea to let our young people in Batley experience this, what do you think you would say?
Oh, not more than what you've already than what's already been said this evening. Really, I mean, it does give you a completely different experience of what it's like to grow up as a kid in India, and that's I mean, that's something you can't. That's something that fine you can read about, fine you can watch a documentary on, but you won't really know what it feels like until you go there. And on top of that, aside from the kind of that side of stuff, but then on the other side you've got all these incredible skills and time and commitment that you put in, and it does really make you a more well-rounded person, because it throws you straight into the thick of it, trying to organize yourself. And organization's an important and incredible skill to have. Managing your time and putting things together and working with people that you might normally not work with, and trying to put aside your differences in the pursuit of the kind of common goal at the end.
Yeah. And how do you think it changed you? As what was perhaps one thing that it changed about how you are now to what you were before you went?
Oh God, I'm not sure if I could really pin it down to one particular thing, but I've been far more aware, if you like, of education. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Than I was before. How crucial and how important it actually is. Because just because you have, some people are. I mean, this is one of the things that actually Mahesh told us when we were there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sadly passed now, but it was the idea there was in at least what he saw in Indian society at the time, is that if someone has a disability, then they're completely written off from society. They cannot join in anymore. And that's an idea that he really wanted to challenge.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've taken, that I've taken away, far more conscious of, disability rights and the importance of education. And to this day, it's something that I still write about, I still talk about, with other people. So that's definitely a long-lasting thing that I've taken away.
Thank you,
Mr. Allen. A question from you for our Mr. Barber. I feel like a quiz show host.
No, that's fine.
I'm doing quite well.
Do you find that obviously living the lifestyle that we have and the people in India, do you find that when you go out buying things or you see things, what's your reaction to that?
When I see things in our society?
Yes, you might go out shopping, you see, well, I like this, you see adverts on television and they're throwing, all these marketing people are throwing things at you. And my reaction is, I don't need all this now. Do you think that will have an effect on you for the rest of your life? Because it certainly has on me.
Oh, definitely. It's something that I'll still definitely remember. Actually, I remember once this was one of the days that we didn't have an activity planned, and they took us out into that old bus that you were talking about, which I do remember well. And they took us around and we were walking through some of the streets, and I thought that day, oh look, let me wear some of my best clothes, because we're heading out into town and all the rest of it. But then we did head into town, and I realized what people were living with, and I felt, for the first time that I remember, I felt ashamed and embarrassed about what I was wearing. Because I was like, all this ostentation around, I'm trying to wear the best clothes that I can.
Yeah.
But then there's these people that don't even have clothes, never mind best clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really hit me. And as you quite rightly said, you kind of walk through and you wonder, well, do I really need to spend this much amount of money on something that I don't really need, or if I can get this for a small price just somewhere else or something like that. So you're quite right. As you quite rightly said, it is something that does stick with you. Until you don't see it, you'll never properly.
You're
see
right.
it.
You've got to see it to appreciate it. You're right.
Absolutely.
Right. And how old were you at the time? Sorry.
Oh God, I don't know.
Oh, don't tell me you can't remember how old you were 7 years ago.
Well, that's 21 minus 7. So what's that?
About
I was never the best
14?
at maths, if I'm
14?
honest. 14. There we go.
14, 15?
Yeah, 14.
A good age to experience something
Yes.
that'll impact you for the rest of your life, really, which is what we're trying to do now. Yeah.
Well, I've got a question for you. At the starting of the program, we heard about how you had to have a lot of positive sleuths and no negative sleuths and be a model student. How did you manage to change the school records to get onto this?
Did you hack
I'm
in?
quite savvy with the computer, I will say that.
Right. Okay.
I have no idea.
What's your message for Janet and Don in the studio tonight? As a your final message.
Well, I wish I could have been there to kind of deliver it personally, but unfortunately, circumstances are such that I can't. Mr. Allen, it's great to hear from you again.
It's lovely to hear from you too.
Likewise. Jeanette, I think you said this is the second time that you're going?
This is right. Yes, it is.
The second time you're going. I mean, lots of luck for you guys to go out there and do what you're doing. And I guess the only message I really have is please carry on doing what you're doing. It's of vital importance. And people on both sides. I mean, we come away as better people, I find, at the end of it than we were when we entered the process.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mohammed, Jazakallah for that. I'm sure I'll hopefully, inshallah, see you see you next week. Get well soon, mate.
Thank you very much. Bye.
I've got a lot of work for you, mate. Okay, bye.
I can imagine.
Yes. All right, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, right. Okay, that was Mr. Mohammed Baba, a pupil from the school who went on INDIABILITY. Certainly, I know he's talking to him over the past few weeks about INDIABILITY. It certainly had a massive impact on his life, and I'm sure with all the pupils. Now we're coming up to the close. A few things we need to get through now. You said at the start you're looking at raising around £10,000.
Yes.
You've mentioned how you're going to raise that.
Yes.
How far down the road are you?
We've got approximately about £1,200, but we've got lots of activities coming up.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, I had a few sleepless nights thinking, will we raise this money? And now I'm not worried. I think, we will raise this money. We will get our young people there. And if anybody listening wants to come up with an idea that we could help, or that might help us to raise some money, I'm not asking for donations of money at all.
Right.
What I'm asking for is just some goodwill and some support.
Yeah.
I want our young people to earn their passage there, because as well as India, I think this is a good learning curve for them as well. And to truly enjoy something or appreciate something has got to have been hard work and angst and happiness in the endeavour to get there, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So please don't think I've come here tonight asking I want some money. I don't. But if you've got an idea where you think 8 young people, if they came to this place and they did this thing, they might raise £100. We'll be there.
Yeah.
So any ideas that people might have, they can, if they pass to you, Mohammed, that I'd be really grateful.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. Of course, you can email us at radio@imws.org.uk. How else can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me at the school, and my email address is jdent@ubhs.co.uk.
Okay, and because that's recorded, you can always watch this back and get it back, so you don't have to repeat it. That's a wonderful thing of recording.
But just ring the school and ask for Mrs. Dent, and I'll always get back to you. So Yeah.
Yeah, and you can find the contact numbers on the school's website. Just type in UBHS and you will get that. Jeanette and Don, it's been an absolute pleasure this evening. I'm glad I came back.
Thank you for inviting us.
No, you're most welcome. I'm glad Mr. Barber found himself sick this evening. I've really enjoyed this. I think it's a fantastic project. I think there's a lot of learning, like you said. It's not just over there; it's the whole learning of how to get there as well, and the whole process. So I'm going to ask you both for your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is it's such a privilege for me to work with these young people to get ourselves to India. I feel like a mum watching the process, and I feel as proud as a parent when I'm looking at our young people. You know, so I want my last thoughts just to be how lucky we are here. How lucky are we to be associated with these young people, and let's help them. Like Mohammed Barber, let's change them when they're at that age where they can do great things.
Yep, absolutely, Mr. Allen.
I think one of the nicest things is that we take these young people to India that are quite timid and nervous and just typical young, not developed and things. And when they come back, the confident, the young grown, they're still developing all the time.
Right. Okay. Now then, that's it for us. I'm just going to go through the announcements again. But before I do that, listeners, come on, get your thinking caps on. Eight young men. They want to raise enough. They want to raise this £10,000 to get to India and do this INDIABILITY with your local school. For many of you out there, it will have been your local school, or it is your child's local school. So get involved. Get your thinking caps on. Think of an idea. It's not as simple as just to give in money on this one.
No, it isn't.
Hard work.
It is.
It's hard.
And we don't want. We want them to work for it.
Yes, to work for it. And of course, you are going to be in the Tesco bag
18th of June, I think it is.
18th of June.
It's a Sunday.
Yep, I'm sure the school website will have that on as well. So head off to the school website. Make sure you check there. Get your thinking caps on. I know there's a lot of clever people out there, so get your thinking caps on. Let's think of a few ideas and let's get to this magic £10,000. Jeanette and Don, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And just before we go, those messages again. Right, tomorrow, ladies, it's your day. Remember, a community event for International Women's Day. Step up to the challenge. Motivational speakers, inspirational women exhibition, craft activities for children, the secrets of self-defense, the real Wonder Woman. All of that tomorrow is wrapped around fantastic refreshments. World Foods, I believe, are going to be involved in that as well. The walking football, don't forget, Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Now, you've got to experience this. If you are free, or take an hour out from your workplace, whatever you want, but come down between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock on a Thursday here at the Al Hikmah Centre. Come to the sports hall and really get involved, because walking football is nowhere near as easy as what people may think it to be. And we've launched the IMWS has launched a charity appeal for East Africa. Sorry, let me just get this up properly and see. It's the wrong one. But it is a very worthy cause. Do support it. Remember, you can make your donations of zakat, sadaqah, and lillah via your local masjid, or you can also you can also donate here at the Al Hikmah Center. Remember, East Africa is experiencing a humanitarian catastrophe with drought and famine in the region. Countries we'll be helping will be Kenya, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia. 23 million people in urgent need of food, water, and medical supplies, and over 800,000 children are verging on malnutrition. So do dig deep. Remember, This is a cause that's very, very easy to support. All you need to do is put some money in put your hand in your pocket, put the money in the pot, and that will work for you as a great reward for the akhirah as well. So zakat, sadaqah, and lillah, we're taking for that. And INDIABILITY, they don't want your money directly, they want your ideas. Do get your ideas in. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
That's Muhammad's hour this Friday, the 17th of March. It's gone past 3 minutes past 9. That's exactly almost 60 minutes. That means the hour is up and I can go home. Until the next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Broadcasting from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire, you're listening to Radio IMWS.